So if I ask you, what did you find in these essays, and if there's something that was unique or something that you found useful?
Your voice is fading. I'm not able to hear you properly.
Oh, okay. Is this fine now?
Yeah, it's better now.
So, what are the things you found useful in these essays? Something which was, which you would like to follow, something which you would not like to follow.
Um, what I like is the way they have demonstrated and explained. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
gone through the explanation also, like after the paragraph, and they have
Mm-hmm.
clearly mentioned that we don't have to put some fancy words that is not required. Is the one thing very
Mm-hmm.
precisely, and I got to know some other words also, like what we generally use is um, on
Yeah.
other hand. So
Mm-hmm.
they have changed it and put it as conversely in that, and we put to conclude. So they have put like this overall. It seems that,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
the words they have used is the normal words like we generally use in our daily conversation and all.
Mm-hmm.
Find it normal rather than going for some fancy words and all to make our
Yes.
essay. It's better to make it. It's very precise essay. They have
Yes.
not written even a single line which is not relevant to the topic. It's
Yes.
like, for
Yes.
example, what we generally do in our essays is like if I wanted to explain one of my point, so
Uh-huh.
I try to put it in an indirect way. Like I'll start with some frame and all, and then I'll come to the point. But
Mm-hmm.
in their essays, they have not done these type of things. They
Yeah.
were very straightforward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm glad that you have noticed these things, and that was the very reason I wanted you to go through these essays. That you're supposed to be absolutely clear and straightforward in your depiction. There is no need to use any unnecessary fancy words, although we
Yeah.
should use new words wherever possible. And but yeah, the condition is that we should be absolutely confident about them. It's
Mm.
not about impressing someone with our vocabulary, but it's about expressing ourselves in the best possible way.
Mm. Yeah, I agree.
So the purpose is not to gain marks. The purpose is to make sure that whatever we write is very direct, clear, and easy to understand. So I'll just open the essays and we'll go through them together once, and we'll see what is good, bad, ugly in all these essays.
Sure.
Let me just open it. Hey Ravi, how are you doing?
Fine, sir. Just now, my one of my friends' parents they left to India, sir. I went there. That's why I was late.
Oh, okay. Simran went back to India.
I think now they started, sir. I think initially their plan was 1 month. It has become 3 months.
All right, but the flights have started from Malaysia to India now.
Yeah, this is evacuation flight, sir.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, all right. So what we are doing is, let me just share the screen so we can quickly read these essays and see something which is good, something bad, and how we can improve our own writing with the help of these essays. So our task is something like group reading, where we'll quickly read these essays and we will see what makes sense. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this was the first essay. The first one was on work and careers. The question was, and as Manpreet rightly pointed out, the way they have depicted one very nice aspect of these essays is precision. So all these essays stand out because the person writes about them in a very precise manner. There isn't any deviation from the topic, and that is one thing. Something which I've found not to be very useful is they take names of cities which are very diverse, right from Sydney to London to all the things which Ashma was also pointing out, and a few structures here and there inside the body. I find the conclusion and the introduction to be fantastic. But then when it comes to the body part of it, there are few expressions or some usages. I find some long sentences specifically which are too long, like two commas in the same sentence, which makes it a little wordy. So we'll read them. Let's just so the purpose of this exercise, when we start reading the essays like this and we start thinking like an examiner, that's where the change happens. Because once we start thinking like an examiner, we start acting like an examiner, or we start writing like an examiner. And just tell me, what would happen if you start writing like an examiner? The
You will
examiner would,
able right. You will
yeah,
able to achieve your desired score. Moreover, you are able to achieve the crux of that essay, what they are asking from us.
yeah, you would be going very confidently about whatever you write. It won't be like just beating around the bush.
Right.
All right. So this was the first one. The first topic was, can somebody read the topic quickly, please? And explain the topic to me. Ravi, can you please read the topic and explain it to me?
Employers offer their employees subsidized memberships of gyms and sports clubs,
Hmm.
believing that this will make their staff healthier and thus more effective at work. Other employees see no benefit in doing so.
Mm-hmm.
Consider the arguments from both aspects of this possible debate and reach a conclusion.
All right. Yeah. So, yeah, can you explain what is going on here? What is the meaning of this? What is the topic?
Topic is a company. I mean, they are saying that they want their employees in order to have the some additional things like gym and sports club. Some people are
Mhm.
believing that it will be helpful for the employers.
Yeah.
Others are believing that it is not helpful for them.
Yeah.
Along with that, we need to discuss both the aspect of this one
Yes.
in detail about this.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So, whenever you read any question, please try to divide the question into two parts. This part is the background information, and this part is the question. This is not the question. Is this a question? No, this is the background story. Now, this is the question, isn't it? This is the question. And whenever you read the question, number them. Consider the argument from both aspects. So, this is one thing that you are supposed to do of the debate and reach to a conclusion. So, this is the second thing. In order to achieve task completion, you must have done these two things. You must have understood both the aspects, and you must have reached to a conclusion also. All right. Very, very quickly, just from the perspective of having a little practice of analyzing the topic, I'll take one more and we'll see that essay as well. From the perspective of analyzing a question. So, whenever you have a question, you should try to divide it into the background information and the question. All right. So, Manpreet, can you just read this question and tell me what is the background information and what is the question?
Yeah, it's the education and schooling topic
Uh,
include.
is it not the second one, the one which is there on screen? The internet will never.
Yeah, just
Yeah, education schooling is the topic, that is correct.
yeah,
And the topic is here. This is the one.
and the example task is the internet will never replace traditional course books in schools.
Hmm.
How far do you agree with this prediction?
Yeah. So, can you explain what are we supposed to do in this?
In this, like they are saying that the statement is saying that internet will never replace the traditional course of books. So this
Mm.
in this they are asking our like whether we agree with this or we don't agree with this. So it's like a opinion, our opinion, like
Mm-hmm.
what we think is. So in my thing is like in introduction itself we'll put like first we rephrase it and then
Mm-hmm.
we'll give our opinion in the introduction itself, as you said in the previous class also, that we have to give our idea that what we are going to explain in the following paragraphs. So
Mm-hmm.
we have opinion in the first paragraph, and
Mm-hmm.
will explain that why we chose this, whether it's internet or it's traditional book. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, we have to write small lines or 2 3 paragraphs about the
Hmm.
opposition also.
Okay, so let's say this is my scale and this is my zero, so it's like a balance. And
Mm-hmm.
on this side, I'll say, let's say, internet will replace books.
Mm-hmm.
Internet will replace books. And on this side, I'll say, internet will never replace books, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Will never replace. So I've got two arguments here. When the
Mm-hmm.
question says, how far do you agree with this prediction? Can I paraphrase this? How far do you agree? So what are the things? I mean, if you ask somebody, what answers can that person give?
I totally agree. I partially agree, or I
Yeah,
disagree.
exactly. I totally agree, and I partially agree, and I totally disagree.
Yeah.
All right. And are all these answers fine? I mean, yeah, I mean, from my perspective, all three are fine, right? When you're asking such a straight question, how far, which means on this scale, if we consider it like a mathematical question, then on the positive side, maybe I'm this much, but then on the negative side, I'm this much, or I'm 50-50 on both sides, or I am more towards this, and on this side, I don't have anything. So this is my dividing line, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or I could be all towards this side and no nothing on this side. All these
Mm-hmm.
are fine, right?
Yes.
From the perspective of this question. And they would be considered complete answers.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you take one side, because they are saying how far. So how far means you cannot force me to write on the other side also. I have my own choice of not agreeing to it also. So I can completely agree or completely disagree also.
Even if we completely agree or disagree, for example in this case,
Hmm.
um, I completely agree with this, that
Hmm.
that internet will can never replace the traditional course books the way we used to learn in our school time. So
Yeah.
if I agree, so do I have to write about the internet also, like internet ways of study, or it's just my like traditional
What
ways
is
of
your opinion? Do you think you should write? Is it
my
okay if you
opinion.
don't write?
My opinion, for example, in this, I totally agree with this. So I thought is like I have to write just 4 to 5 sentences, small paragraphs, like to oppose also.
So what if
Like,
you don't write that?
mm,
Is it okay not to write on the other side in this topic? Others, Ravi and Ashma, what do you say?
I don't think so. Like,
I think we need to. Uh, it is not needed, so it is not mandatory. But if you want to touch, we can touch it. That's what I feel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's very precise and clear. Yeah. So if you want to touch दुनियादारी का ख्याल रखने के लिए अगर if you want to touch you can touch but then not necessary. I agree to what Ravi says. What do you say,
mhm.
Ashima?
Uh, yes, sir. I also agree with his point. Like we can add a few points, or we can add two or three sentences for this. But yeah,
Yeah,
not to elaborate, right?
yeah. So if I were to write on this, I'll go full force on one side because from the very beginning, I'll say that, well, I don't, or I agree with this, that the books are indispensable or books are necessary. And I'll give maybe 3 points, one, two, three, not more than three. Even two, if I want, I can give two. Otherwise, I'll take three reasons and I'll just write one complete paragraph on each of the reasons. Like if I want to say internet can never replace, so why? Number one, so books are easy to carry. I'll write one complete paragraph on this. Second thing I'll say, you can bookmark and you can, write notes very easily on an internet based book. it is not so easy. I mean, nowadays, like with these electronic pens and everything, that thing is possible. But then um, it's not something which is very easy to bookmark and write notes on an electronic version. What else? I can also say that um,
No need of preserving it for long time, sir. I mean, books means we need to preserve it, but internet means, I mean, it will be available anytime, right? I
no,
mean, even
I want to say that internet books cannot replace it.
okay, then this will be invalid. What I spoke. Okay, sir.
Yeah, I want some reason to say that this paper version is better. So easy to carry. I can the bookmark, or I can write notes. I wanted to say. What else? Mm, I would rather talk about something like connect with the reader. I mean, when you read a book, it is. Um, I will simply say it is easy to use or navigate.
Yeah, I also wanted to make this point because I also find it like why a book is easy to navigate.
Yeah, you can scroll through a certain page. You can go to a certain page number very
Mm.
quickly, and on an internet-based copy, sometimes navigation is okay. But then, see, this is something interesting. You don't have to be factually right all the time, right?
Mm.
It's about how you feel about the topic, and you can. It's your opinion. It does not need to be the universal truth and something which everybody agrees to. Some people find navigating an electronic version much easier because there are hyperlinks there. So, but then you may find relating to it and reading it a little easier. So by all means, you can do that. Hmm?
We can add content oriented resource also, because in on internet we can find so many things. Sometimes we got confused also, and if we are using books, so it's very specific to the point and content
Yeah,
related. We will
you
not
can always say no distractions.
no distraction, right?
It's more focused.
It's more focused, right?
So when you are reading on something on internet, you tend to. So enough number of reasons. Even if you write 30 words on each of them,
Right.
30, 35 words, let's say 40 words. So for the 16, 160 goes into this. And easily you will write around 30 to 40 words in your introduction, 30 to 40 words in your conclusion. So you can very easily write it. And it always goes beyond 40 words because you're writing in PEE format. You know what is PEE format?
Point, example, explanation.
Yeah, point, example, explanation. So whenever you draft the paragraphs, write it in PEE format, which is like writing the point, then write the example, then write the explanation. Like you will say, the biggest advantage of books is that they are easy to carry. So what is this? This is the point.
Yeah.
Now you can elaborate it with an example. One. Okay, so point, example, and explanation. One second. Just give me. So yeah, this is important. When you write it in PE format, it becomes very structured, and you also have a roadmap with you. What am I doing right now? I'm making a point. So you will not keep on making a point only. Earlier, I used to do this mistake. So when I was making a point, I'll make a point only for 5 minutes. So we should refrain from such kind of unnecessary elaborations. Make a very precise point. right? So the first sentence of the paragraph must be very short. The biggest advantage of books is that it is very easy, that they are very easy to carry, simple. It should be like no brainer, foolproof, one line. The biggest advantage of studying from books is that they are easy to carry, full stop. And then elaborate it. I still remember my school days. We used to carry a lot of books in one bag, and each of the books were of one subject. It was very easy to arrange and read, study from them. Now, as a grown up, I still relate with books more than electronic content. It makes me very well. I mean, that's it. That it is easy to carry. So, because this is again a very bड़ी गलती. हम लोग जब लंबा लिखते हैं ना, so we try to cover the next point also in the same point. This happens with me. We will have to have very, very iron walls between 3 points. So easy to carry means just talk about easy to carry. So in other words, and just state the same thing, saying in other words. In other words, studying it is easy to transport books, or books are um, in other words, it is quite easy for grown-ups as well as children to carry books from one place to another. So that's one. So again, now change the paragraph, go to the second one. Second big advantage of studying from books is that we can mark up, and we can write down some notes and bookmarks in the margins. And and you can do some gup there. I'm a person who always find it easy to write notes in the book, so that those reference points become my own. I mean, give me an advantage of reading again. They are easy to revise. So this is the second advantage. And then now see, please pay attention. When you have got 4 points, it's actually very easy to go to 300 words. If you try to write these, you will easily reach 300, 350 words. So if you have got more points, you'll have to write short paragraphs, right? And this will come with practice. You cannot just keep on elaborating one paragraph only, and you will miss it. So one of my friends took this IELTS test. He was an IELTS examiner, and he came to Delhi to take the exam. First thing he did was, in the morning he eat lot of watermelon. You know what is watermelon? So just before the exam in the morning, he ate lot of watermelon. So his stomach was all tight, and he thought that he's an IELTS examiner. IELTS examiner means IELTS teacher, not examiner. So he was an IELTS teacher, and after that he went there. When he sat there, they offer you free coffee. So this gentleman took 2 cups of coffee. So first watermelon, then coffee. Think of his state. And then he started doing listening test. When listening started, he could not hear any word. There were, noises coming from his stomach itself. So they were interfering with the listening part. And when it came to reading, by the time it was like he had to go every 5 minutes to the washroom, because watermelon and coffee started showing all the effect. And by the time he came to writing, he was in a different world altogether. It became so difficult for him to sit there. They make you sit for 3.5 hours. And if your stomach is full and it is in digestion mode, the brain stops working. So please don't do those kind of. And he wrote such an essay, like 360 words, thinking that he's a teacher, so he'll write very nicely. So organizing your ideas and thoughts is very, very important. When you have got 4 points to, first of all, don't eat. I mean, not just watermelon. Do not eat too much before the test, and otherwise you will end up going to being in the washroom more than writing the test. And second thing is, you have to, you know, have the reins in your hands. When you know that you are writing 4 points, please do not write very long paragraphs. So like, You just have to touch upon them with one short example. That would be enough. All right, fine. So good. We know about this. How has this guy dealt with this topic? Can we just quickly read it? So Manpreet, if you can just read and explain how he has done this one. How is the introduction? Just let's look at the introduction only first.
Yeah. There is a huge range of resources available to the modern teacher, and the right selection is crucial in delivering effective lessons. I agree that there will always be a place for course books in the school curriculum, despite the many benefits of the internet.
What a beautiful introduction. I like it
Yeah.
actually. It's
Yeah.
very precise,
Right.
just two sentences, and he has covered everything. His mind is absolutely clear. I agree that there
Mm.
will always be a place for books. So he has paraphrased though that statement in a very nice way. So as far as introduction goes, I think it is absolutely fantastic. And he's using some words, curriculum, which is related to studies. There will always be a place for course books in the school curriculum, despite the many benefits of the internet. So using some advanced structures and giving an evidence of being a very mature writer. And see, he has also done this firstly, secondly, thirdly. Okay, just read this body paragraph also once, please.
Yeah, it's firstly, course books, whether conventional or digital, have been deployed by pedagogical experts and designed to be incorporated into a subject syllabus,
Hmm.
leading to testing procedures such as formal examinations or continuous assessments. This
Yeah,
means
so this line and this word, pedagogical experts. Who are these pedagogical experts?
In the field of teaching,
Yeah,
teaching
in the field of education. So they are
education.
written by people who are educators with the purpose of examination. So he
Mhm.
has connected. So this is one point he has made here, that books are meant for examination. I mean, those who are preparing for some academic test. Yeah, you can continue, Martin.
This means that they are proven to improve students' academic achievement, enhancing their potential for progression to further or higher education.
Now, this is again interesting. One point which I want you to pay focus on is he always writes one sentence and then put an ing structure to further modify it. This is called as a modifier. All right. So, what is a modifier? A modifier is a sentence which comes after a comma, not sentence, but a phrase which comes after a comma to just modify the previous part. So this is the previous part or the main agenda. This means that they prove to improve students' academic achievement, right? And what do you mean by improving achievement? This enhancing their potential for progression to further or higher education. So yeah, you can use this, you know. So and this is an example of a complex sentence as in the parlance of what all these IELTS people say. Yeah, can continue please.
Furthermore, the use of modern course books allows pupils to coordinate their studies as part of group work, hopefully making their lessons less teacher led and more about autonomous learning.
Mm. What do you mean by pupils?
People.
No, this
Plural
is
of
pupils. Pupils.
plural of people, sir.
No,
No.
no, 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 no. Google
But
it.
students,
Pupils. Please Google it.
so these are students.
Yeah, pupils are bachas. This word is specifically for students. Otherwise, you always write people, right? Pupils, you never write. There's no such word as peoples. It is different, and this is different.
Mhm.
So pupils मतलब स्कूल जाने वाले बच्चे. or students. So pupils to coordinate their studies as part of group work. So books allow you to do that, hopefully making their lessons less teacher-led and more from autonomous learning. So books help you to learn without a teacher is what he's trying to say. Although the same advantage is there with a electronic book also. So from the point of logic, this probably is not a very strong argument, but nevertheless you can use this. You can say that generally books are the ones which are there, but electronic books probably are available to different people, different books. Each of them might be referring to some different electronic book on the same subject. So coordination becomes difficult. Is what yeah. Can you further read this?
Uh, this in itself teaches study skills such as independent research and synthesizing sources rather than old-fashioned rote learning.
Yeah. What do you mean by synthesizing sources?
Synthesizing means like to prepare.
Yeah, to prepare. Syn means together,
Mhm.
and thesizing, or the next part means to make, to build something. So synthesis, like the word photosynthesis. Have you heard
Yeah,
this?
photosynthesis.
So photosynthesis also is the process where you bring things together and make food. I mean, not you, the leaves and plants. So similarly, synthesizer is there. A synthesizer also synthesizes sounds using different notes. So synthesizing sources means combining the sources. So basically, kids can combine their knowledge when they have studied something. One step, kid studies chapter 1, the other kid studies chapter 2, and they can exchange notes. So that's what it is. And this is a good word, synthesizing sources. All right.
This
So,
is where
hmm?
this is where the internet, in fact, can play a useful part to supplement and add to knowledge with which the students are assimilating by their coursebook.
Yeah. So, and the use of colon, this is also something which is interesting here. Can you see? This
Yeah.
is where the internet, in fact, can play a useful part, and they have written a colon there. So, what is the use of a colon? A colon is used to, yeah,
To explain further or
yeah,
to
yeah,
modify the sentence.
yes. You can use colon to explain it further. Like, for example, reading from a book is easier. All right, and you want to qualify it, or you want to explain why is it easier, right? uh, it is why is it easier? One can always make bookmarks, and it
Or
is also,
we can write that point which you wrote earlier about the navigation and all.
yeah, reading from a book is easier. It is easy to navigate from one page to other on a physical book, so you can use a colon to connect. But I don't want you to use colon right now. I want you to first write at least 10 examples from internet itself. Study the use of colon first, then you use it in your example. Write 10 examples, copy them from internet. Some good, whatever, when you go through the sites, you can get that. But then don't use it right away. You know, all these structures need to be mastered first before you use them. But this is good. I think whatever time you invest in understanding the use of colon would be worth it, because it adds to your grammatical range and accuracy. So you're using different types of punctuations, and definitely adds some variety to your writing. But practice this. This is an assignment for you. Use of colon. All right. So
Right.
fine. this is where the internet, in fact, can play a very useful part. And this, can you please read further?
Yeah. However, it is the role of teachers and school management generally to ensure that use of the internet remains a guided learning process and not an exercise in data gathering from internet sources, which may be unreliable or even misleading.
Yeah, so they have talked about that lose of focus, the way we were saying. You can stick to your guns also. Like if I were to write an essay on this, I would rather like three paragraphs, because you have to discover your own style and stick to it. So in case you want to see first paragraph as ease of use, second paragraph as what was the thing we wrote there? More focused. Third paragraph was easy to carry. Whatever we wrote in the explanation at the beginning. So you can write one paragraph like that and do it. There's no need to write one big paragraph like this. Okay?
Yeah. Or we can start like the way they have done furthermore in the second paragraph.
Yes, yes, yes. You can divide this into second paragraph and give example and like that. From the perspective of the other side, he has written the next paragraph also, it seems.
Yeah. It is true that the internet can be invaluable for adults, for example, in distance learning or self study modules, who are able to discriminate between sources and sift information to marshal their facts. However, this is a mature skill, and we should not consume that school age pupils are already to do this.
Yeah. Marshall, their facts seem to be too extreme. Marshall, their facts, I've not seen such a usage of Marshall with facts. Sift information and enhance their knowledge would be equally good. There's no need to sift, enhance their knowledge. Sometimes they go overboard with vocabulary. So you don't have to take everything the way it is. You can always change it. But yes, so this one is called as, this kind of paragraph is called as an exception paragraph. Why is it called as an exception paragraph? Because now you are taking a little bit of U-turn and talking about internet now. So this big paragraph was about the books, and this paragraph is about internet. Internet can be invaluable for adults who are da 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 and mature skills and should not assume that school. So he has made a very strong case about internet, and he has made a virtual divide between two groups. One is the school students, other is the grown-up students like Ravi. Ravi, what have you cooked today?
Hey, lemon rice.
Lemon rice. Oh, that yellow rice, which is no?
Yeah, normally I thought of I cooked some dal and chicken.
Hmm.
My wife called me and said, Today is Grahana, you should not eat both." So my menu got changed.
Oh, in Malaysia also this is grand. So sun is the same everywhere, huh?
Timings are different, sir.
All right. Manpreet and Asima, are you also doing something special for Grahan?
I don't
Actually,
follow
we are
this.
fasting. We will eat after 2. My mother-in-law called me and she said like after 2 you can have whatever you want. Put some tulsi in every food
Yeah,
and after that you can
Tulsi
eat.
is floating all across today. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't believe in this, so I don't follow this.
Hey, you do. It's not the question of believing or not believing. Come on, Manpreet.
No, no, it's not. I always eat. Like, I just had my breakfast and I have not put any tulsi and all in that.
No, but this Tulsi, I mean, what I mean to say is, this is a scientific phenomena.
Yeah.
Scientific phenomena is like uh, there are some rays, but
Yeah,
I'm not putting anything in that. And like, what I think is scientific is still that only that rays will come. But
but then some plants and some herbs have a quality of purifying everything.
then when we have to put it every day in our food, not just on the ground.
Yeah, but then today, this particular environment is a little more. So it's like when a lion comes at your home, you will carry a big danda in your hand because today lion is coming, so you'll welcome it with a danda. So that's why you are putting it today because we know that lion is coming, and Tulsi has this. I mean, this is proven, isn't it? Tulsi. So I mean,
Yeah, Tulsi have scientific benefits that I know, but in my opinion, then we have to put it in every day. Why to just choose for eclipse only?
because today it is lion coming. No,
Line
so
coming.
this eclipse is lion, so that is why you are like putting a shield of Tulsi in front of you. अगर
Mhm.
मुझे मारना है तो तुलसी से होके गुजरना पड़ेगा.
That's why we shut the door also of
Yeah,
all religious places, that
yeah. All those
that
things.
rays will not come to our God
Yeah.
also.
See, my take is very simple on this. I do everything which does not harm me directly. So, like for example, if we talk about Tulsi,
Mm-hmm.
it's good. It's not harming me, so why should I say no to it? But if
Mm-hmm.
somebody says do Shirshasana throughout the day, because it
No,
is
in my opinion, it's like if somebody will tell me that you don't have to eat during that particular time. See, even if I'm hungry, then why can't I eat it? It's a normal process, no? Why to just starve
it's just
ourselves?
no. There's a scientific reason for that also. You
Mm-hmm.
search it. I read it on Google, and there are scientific reasons to them. So if it is scientific, I'll say yeah, fine. What they're saying is you can eat before or after it
Yes, sir. She
But
said the same thing.
why not during the
because all these rays
eclipse?
which are coming from
Mm-hmm.
sun. See, we say that all right, fine. I'm living in the walls, so those rays cannot enter inside. But it's not just about those rays. It's
Mm-hmm.
about the whole cosmetic structure changing during that time. And uh, since various other so if I have to use the word demons become stronger, all these demons can affect everything. Like for example, all this cosmic game
And
is like.
it is not anything anywhere proven that demons will become more active during this time. This is what I've like
So
heard
in the
from.
night when you go out,
Mhm,
like three
mhm,
o'clock,
mhm.
do you think the more you will find more saints on the road or demons on the road?
Yeah, I agree. Demon on the road.
Yeah, so it's not the question of scientific proof. The time is like that
Mm-hmm.
because at this time sun is having some kind of problem. So sun is the biggest devata, no? So when it is having problem, all the demons would be empowered. So police is sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So the probability of all the thieves dancing on the road would be higher.
So it's okay if they are saying that we don't have to do our prayers during this time, or like doors will remain shut
So
off.
my take is like even if I put the doors shut today, it's not going to harm me. I'll take their advice. I'll
Yeah.
do everything which is not harmful to me. So if they want it to be closed, I'll say close because I don't know. So for the things I don't know, I'll consider them to be smarter. Let them have benefit of doubt. Ah, yeah, you are right. You are right. So my papa says and some grandma says, we keep it
I'll
closed.
give you one example, like my personal example. Though could be possible that, like as you said, that they are master of these things. So, and I don't know anything about it, so I should not comment on that. But I'll give you one example. Like in our relatives, like one of my masi and her friend, he said that I'm so much of this. What is that? Pandit and all. So he started like this, and he came on some function, and we all were there. Nani ke ghar pe, so it was like he came, and during that time, my brother was actually trying to go out of India. So he was preparing for his exam and everything, and my brother was going on some course basis, so academic he was preparing and all, and he did all his exam, and he was waiting for the LOI from Australian University. Just that thing is pending. So that person came, and he started and showing his skills in front of everyone, and he's saying, and he saw my brother and he said that no, it's not possible for you to go out of India, it's very tough. It's like if someone will take you there, then that is the only possible way of just going out of this country. And
Mm.
when he saw me and he said that no, it's very easy for you to go out of India, like it's just a matter of 1 minute or 5 minutes, you'll be able to go. And I was thinking that okay, fine, I took that. And he told me to just wear some ring and all, because it's your rashi and all, whatever he said. So my brother was like, he was sad, and he said no, what is he said, I was not able to go. And I was like, do you really believe this person? Like, and he was like, but why he said all those things? I said, just wait for some time, I trust my god. So I was like, just wait for some time. It's really is just within 2 days he got his LOI and he went to Australia. Now he's citizenship, he's holding citizenship of Australia, and I'm still in India. See the example.
Yeah, so that's the very point, and I can see what you're saying. I think the crux of the matter is like, let's take the things which are advantageous to us. All these
Yeah.
pundits may say anything. So if it does not harm, if it is good, he says, yeah, yeah, both of you will go. He'll say, yeah, Panditji, you are right. Okay, fine.
This
If
is
you
what
say
I said.
no, there is some problem with somebody, you can say, no, 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 you don't. You please check your facts and figures. So you can always put that filter of something being good or not.
Yeah.
All right. So coming back to the point here, so I think, yeah, you can always use this content to gather good points on various things, but then maintain your own structure, like the way we discussed, right? 3 paragraphs and 3 different reasons, and conclude it that way. Okay. So we can come to the conclusion of this now.
Yeah. Overall, it appears that course books, with their quality and depth of material, are said to remain an integral part of the syllabus. The internet can be judged a useful supplement to this if used carefully and under supervision.
So very beautifully
Mhm.
drafted uh, conclusion. And I won't, if I were to say, don't use this overall thing, always say to conclude only, because that goes more with the tradition of writing essays. Overall is usually to sum up stuff, which is usually good for describing some kind of graph where you are talking about the overall picture. But when you say it is an essay, a conclusion is different from the overall picture, right? Because
And if we put it in a nutshell or some.
nothing. Conclusion. To conclude, that's it. Make it very simple and idiot proof.
Mhm.
Make it simple. I mean, this is my take. In nutshell is not incorrect. But then I would rather save my time and say to conclude and cut. So एकदम cut to cut ऐसे होता है ना? Because it's not going to give me any extra marks. So my take is maintain one structure and just follow that.
And
Because
we
then
can use to conclude in any essay, any type of essay.
in any type of essay, yes.
Mhm.
All right. People use very fancy, and I was also a fan of all those fancy words. To recapitulate, I used to write this. Recapitulate. To conclude is to recapitulate. This looks like ekdam Yamraj word at the end. So don't use those kind of words. Make it simple. But yes, these words are very good. Where is that? Supplement to this. The internet can be judged as a useful supplement. Useful supplement fits in very well here. Like a useful addition, and should be used under supervision. So very clearly depicted answer. All right, let's go to the next one. So all these words and syllabus and content is there, so you can always skip skim through and get the meanings of the words there. Let's take the next topic. Ravi, can you please explain what is this topic all about? what is the statement? What is the question out of this? Here is the question.
Some people believe that children should spend all of their free time with their families. Others believe that it is unnecessary or even negative. Discuss the possible arguments on both sides and say which side you personally support.
Oh, so this one is forcing you actually now that you have
Yeah.
to discuss both sides. So what can be the, how will you plan this essay? If I were to plan
Uh,
it, I'll make a tea table. One good way of planning is to make a tea table like this. So I'll say with family and I'll say with others. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of being with family? Now the topic is very, I mean, they have tweaked it a little bit. This particular word, even negative, needs to be emphasized. This has to come through in our, how can how can sometimes being with family can have negative implications. So I can write something here about it, that being with family is great advantage, but it can have a negative effect also on the development of a child's personality. Discuss possible arguments on both sides. What is the advantage of being with others? I'll say this. And what kind of conclusion can I write for this? Which side you personally support? Oh, which means I have to be on one side at the end. So you can always support one side, but again, you can be a little bit, you know, I mean, you can talk about the other side also, that there are positive aspects of both the arguments, or there are advantages of being with family as well as friends. But then, in my opinion, and you can say specify that this is better. So you are saying A and B both exist, but B is stronger. That can be the tone of your conclusion. So you can say, to conclude, there are advantages of being with family as well as friends, but then, in my opinion, being with friends is a better choice for children to get to for the development of the children, uh, because they learn a lot of things from each other. Fine, I'm not going to read this essay now. What I want you to do is, I want you to write the first essay that we discussed. I think let's just quickly read this one as well. So we'll have some masala to copy and write in our own, I mean, practice with our own writing. And the purpose I asked you to read this is the very reason. I find it very precise. Ravi,
Sir.
do you find it precise?
Yes, sir.
But take everything with a little grain of salt. I mean, don't take it absolutely. Like the way we were talking about Panditji, whatever is advantageous to you, take that. Whatever is written here in this essay, take the good things. As we were discussing earlier, I found a few things to be a little too vague or not very good in these essays also.
Few
The use
topics,
of,
few paras they had extended, sir, which is not to be. I found that.
yeah, but then the words, I mean, if I say 90% of it is very good, especially the introduction and the conclusion, they write it very beautifully. And it's very precise, as Manpreet was telling. I also found it very precise. Choice of words is very good. And overall, it is fantastic to read them.
And so they always started their starting with the journal statement, which is very good. Like,
Yeah, nobody can deny that parental influence is important for children. Can you please read it, Ashima, quickly?
yes, sir. Nobody can deny that parental influence is important for children, at least in cases where children live with their parents, foster parents, or guardians. However, it is by no means clear that children should spend time exclusively in the family, as we will see.
Now, see, this is like very, very appealing type of thing. Very clear, and the choice of words, the whole thing which is written is uh, Yeah, it's very. I mean, starting off with the on the right foot, or writing an introduction which is very precise. So from that perspective, this is a very good introduction. Yeah, can you please read it further?
Yeah. On the one hand, it may appear advisable for parents to act as a role model and to establish ground rule for behavior by spending as much time as possible with their children. This allows the youngster to observe convention and code of conduct they which they can then follow themselves, hopefully leading to an absence of problems such as bullying, truancy, and delinquency later on. Okay. Furthermore, being with the family should reduce the risk of children falling victim to crimes such as abduction or coming under influence of negative peer pressure.
So very precisely telling the advantage of being with family and using some words like I have seen this word for the first time today, truancy.
Truancy.
What is the meaning of this word?
I think running away from the school, something like that. I think so, sir.
Yeah, study,
Last,
study marna bolte hain. Study
yeah,
marna picture
we
देखते
discussed
हैं.
about this word. I think in the previous session.
Yeah. All right. Can you read the next paragraph, please?
Sure, sir. On the other hand, we have to ask whether this is practical proposition. In a society where many
This is interesting. The way they have introduced the other past.
yeah,
We have to ask. So they are questioning the legitimacy of the other side, or the logic of that side. We have to ask whether this is a practical proposition. Isn't it beautiful?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's very nice. Yeah. In a society where many families are dual income or where one parent's role as breadwinner, which means he or she is away from the family for long periods, it is inevitable that children cannot spend all of their time with the family. Child minding and after school childcare are often used in these cases, and if managed properly, these can be preferably viable alternatives. Equally, it seems that children can in some cases learn a considerable amount from their peers in addition to adults, and allowing them to play without supervision may be benefit.
Yeah. I don't find this considerable amount a very good usage. Learn a considerable amount. I would rather say learn a lot of lessons from their peers. Yeah, learn a lot of behavioral skills. I won't say amount, isn't it?
Consider the amount of their
It's,
peers.
it's more idiomatic than they learn lots of things, or maybe lots of behavioral skills. Amount word does not sound very logical there. But the rest of it is very good. They have written it very nice way, telling that. And initial part, I got a little confused. In a society where many families are dual income,
Right.
or one parent's role as breadwinner means he or she is away from the family for a long time. So, what does it mean? I would rather say in a society where many families are dual income, where both parents work, it is inevitable that children cannot spend all the time with family. It is inevitable that, yeah, it is inevitable for parents to find some other uh, place where their children could be safe. So I'd rather put it in a little simpler way. Inevitable that children cannot spend. It looks like, I mean, I understand what it is saying, but then it's complicated. I would rather say that the parents do not have any choice but to put their children in some child care uh, place, or child care creche, something like that. All I'm trying to say
Can
is,
we say childcare services? Is it a means a right word?
yeah, you
Childcare.
can say child care service,
Okay.
or crochet is a word. You can say childcare service also. Yeah, it's a service.
Okay.
So just that you should try to make it as simple as possible. But yes, the good aspect is that it has fulfilled all the criteria, and with the way it is written, it still qualifies for 7 bands. These small things would not count you to take your essay below that because it is fulfilling all the criteria with respect to task completion, cohesion, coherence, grammar, vocabulary, everything. All right. So I would like to take these two essays with the way we have discussed. If you can just write them and send them to me, it will be a very good practice. You'll get kind of acquainted to, I mean, not acquainted, you have already been writing, but it will be a good practice for you. So taking the same essays and if you can write them back to me, I think that will be great. And yeah, the good part of these essays is that the writing is very precise and it fulfills the criteria. It does not deviate from the topic a great deal. Any other questions you have for today? Anything else that you want to discuss?
So it's just if it's I guess essay number 4. If you can just discuss the essay, the
Yeah.
topic, like what they're
Sure,
asking.
sure, sure. Which topic, tell me?
I think so. It's nature and environment. I think it's 4. Topic
Yeah,
4. Yeah.
nature environment. Yeah. So what it says is pollution of rivers, lakes, and seas is a major concern for people who seek to protect the environment. What are the possible causes of water pollution, and what effects does this have on animal life and human society? So basically, it's a cause and effect type of essay. And yeah, so what are the causes of water pollution?
I'm so
Yeah,
sorry, sir. It's fifth. I'm so sorry. It's very
that's
easy
fine.
to understand. This is what I'm thinking. It's culture and art. Something. Question number topic 5.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
culture and art and traditions.
Yeah. Can you please read the topic and tell me what is
Yeah.
yeah.
So they said in many countries, traditional dress and costume are considered an effective way of maintaining links with the past. How effective can traditional costume be in this sense? What other ways exist to help citizens connect with a country past?
Mhm, mhm. So by wearing traditional dresses like dhoti kurta in India or wearing a sari
Yeah,
or
we
maybe
can link with past or our culture or traditions.
yeah. So this is the
तो सर
statement.
जब मैंने फर्स्ट ये पैसेज पढ़ा तो मैंने विदाउट this question, so is there any way we can think?
I'm sorry, your voice got lost in between.
Hello, yeah, so when I without checking the explanation of task, I find little tricky. So
Mhm.
what should I do to this type of essay type? What should I do and take care?
Okay. So it was the explanation which was tricky, or the question was also tricky. Like,
I find
don't. Mhm.
मेरे को इसमें ट्रेडिशनल ड्रेस के बारे में बताना चाहिए और किस तरह से सो आई फाइंड डिफिकल्टी इन स्ट्रक्चरिंग द आंसर
Mhm.
सो
Okay.
बट जब एक्सप्लेनेशन हुआ तो मुझे समझ में आया सो इफ आई 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 विल गेट दिस टाइप ऑफ essay in my writing so I just need quick tips or trick if there are कि क्या
Yeah.
कर सकते हैं इस
Just
तरह
give me
से
one. Just give me one.
श्योर
See, so Ashma, don't be a slave of your knowledge.
हम्म
What happens is that whatever is within our domain of knowledge, we find it very easy to understand.
हम्म
Whatever is a little different, we find it difficult to understand. So
Right.
if you're finding this topic to be a little difficult to understand, it
Yes.
means that you have not done this kind of essay earlier,
Yes.
and it might happen that you will get something which is out of your domain of knowledge or your sphere of knowledge. So
Yes.
don't get threatened by that. Try to understand what the points are. Like in many countries, what is he trying to ask? So one way to understand these kind of questions is to paraphrase in your own language, maybe in Hindi.
Okay.
क्या बोल रहा है भाई? तू बोल रहा है कि ट्रेडिशनल ड्रेस और कॉस्ट्यूम्स जो होते हैं
इफेक्टिव वे रहते हैं अपनी संस्कृति को अटैच और
लिंक विद द पास्ट. अच्छा जी, तो अच्छा मतलब तो यू नो धोती कुर्ता वगैरह पहनो तो आप यू विल बी लिंक विद योर पास्ट, लाइक in um, like Muslims wear kurta pajama all the time, or Punjabis wear suits, Punjabi suit and kada kapan, face case kangi kacha. So I mean, they also wear certain type of garb all the time. So that those things, it keeps us connected with our past. Now the question is, how effective can traditional costumes be in this sense?
राइट.
This is the question. So one technique is to paraphrase. The second thing you should always do is differentiate the statement from the question. So which part is the statement or background information, and which part is the question? So this is not the question. See, this is not the question.
बैकग्राउंड. राइट.
This is the question. You know. So we kind of sometimes become a part of this. We get so much involved with this that we lose focus on the question. This is what you will get marks on. How effective can traditional costumes be in the sense?
ओके.
What other ways exist? So these are the two things you should focus on.
ओके.
How effective can traditional costumes be? So can they be? So there are two things we can say. Yeah, they are very effective, or they are partially effective or fine. You know, there is some effect of it, or they are not
और दे आर
effective
नो
at all.
इफेक्ट. या.
So I will say I'll take this middle path. Yeah, there is definitely a role of traditional dresses in connecting us with the past, and you can talk about why. For example,
Occasionally, yeah, we
yeah,
find this very linked with the uh, with our culture, arts, and sometimes on festival when we wear these type of stuff. So it's
yes. So don't get connected with this part of the essay. Get connected with this part. I mean, not
got it.
connected, but yeah, address this portion. So it will be very easy for you. Cut
Yes.
the background information. In fact, the way I have cut it
Yes.
in your exam also, just cut it like this so that your attention does not go there. And
Okay.
look at the question. Look at those statements which have a question mark in them.
Okay.
Like these
Okay.
are the question marks. So this is what they are finding answers to. And this is super important. Is this a bulb on kind of movement? Did you ever analyze essays like this, looking for full stops and question marks earlier?
No.
Now you do this.
Sure.
Cut the portion wherever there is a full stop and underline the portion wherever there is a question mark. So
Question
you
mark.
would be very clear of what the question is.
Okay.
So how effective can traditional costumes be? Now you know. And
Yeah.
you know, don't think too much about taking one side only. When they say how effective, you can say you can take a very moderate position. Yeah, it is no, there is no denying the fact that traditional costumes play a very important role in connecting it with our past, connecting us with our past. However, there can be some other ways as well, and this essay will explore those ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so apart from traditional costumes, what can the other ways be?
Okay. So sir, first para अगर मैं traditional costume के बारे में लिखती हूँ, and then second para for other ways, and conclusion, as per my opinion, I will go with other ways. So is it okay?
No, ये पूछ थोड़ी ना रहा है. देखो, उसी सवाल का जवाब दो जो पूछा गया है.
Okay.
तो इसमें ये नहीं बोल रहा कि कंपेयर करो, इसमें बोल रहा है तो टू कंक्लूड in my opinion, traditional dresses as well as other
Other
rituals.
ways.
Yeah, दोनों को बराबर रखो ना. जब वो बोल ही नहीं रहा कि कौन सा
बराबर.
बड़ा है,
Okay.
so why should you force telling that no, this one is more important, this one is less important? This is a very good discussion. I'm so glad that you brought up this point. You know, proper analysis of question itself is half the part of of writing the essay.
Right.
You know, and this is important because many times the topic itself is a little confusing, and why it becomes confusing is we mix the statement with the question.
Right.
Now you just cut everything which is related to the statement. Just pay attention to the question.
Okay.
And just answer that part of the question which is asked. I mean, do not try to stretch your imagination to
Okay.
answer everything. What other ways exist? So simply say that these other ways are also existing. But then our brain, whenever there are two things, the natural thing for our brain to do is to compare and tell which one is bigger.
Okay.
We forget that it could be A greater than B,
Okay.
or A less than B, but there is also a possibility of A equal to B, right?
Right.
It's not just about A greater than B and A less than B. It can be A equal to B also. Ravi ko neend aa rahi hai. Ravi, good morning.
No, sir. I'm just seeing.
Is it the effect of solar eclipse or generally afternoons you sleep?
No, sir. No, sir. I'm
All
just
fine?
seeing. Okay, sir.
Do you agree that this is fine? What should be the conclusion for this one?
This regarding this, and that's what, sir. I mean, we can. We need to do two things here, sir. How would the traditional costumes is going to affect our regarding with the past? That is one thing we need to write.
Mhm.
And the next thing is there any other things which accommodates in order to go to the past? Those things we need to add up, sir.
Yeah, which helps us use simple words in your life, Ravi. Very simple, idiot-proof words. You know? Don't say accommodate and all. It's very scary. So simple words, for example, which other ways can be there to connect us with our old traditions? And so the conclusion would be very neutral. You don't have to make any comparison. You can always say that apart from traditional dresses, following rituals which were followed by our ancestors can also help us to connect with our past. Have you heard this, The Strangest Secret today, Ravi?
Regarding, sir.
I gave you that Strangest Secret, no? You are supposed to hear that every day. And
Sir,
Ashma,
I already heard that, sir. I mean, yesterday,
not
you were saying
yesterday, today.
today I didn't listen, sir. You mean to say about the Nightingale one, right?
Yeah. You're not doing your homework. I'll come to Malaysia to beat you now. All right. So Ashma and Manpreet, you are also going to do this from today onwards. I'm going to send you a link. Please hear that every day for next 7 days.
Okay.
All right. It's going to be of 30 minutes. And I can tell you that it will transform your life. You'll start thinking in a different way. Just hear it. झाड़ू लगाते रहो, कुछ भी करते रहो, खाना बनाते रहो, उसको कान पे
झाड़ू
लगा लो.
लगाते नहीं हो सकता, झाड़ू लगाते नहीं सुन सकते, फोन गिर जाए.
हाँ, तो जेब में रख लो ना. मैं तो झाड़ू लगाते हुए सुनता हूँ.
आप झाड़ू लगाते हो?
तो क्या मतलब लगाना पड़ता है कि नहीं? खाना चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए? हमको भी तो रोटी खानी है. We have to do it.
Story of every husband, yeah, I know.
So yeah, in the lockdown you have to do. So basically, while you are doing something which is a little unpleasant, you can hear this. It's very good. It you just hear it. I'll send the link to you. It is by the name "The Strangest Secret" by Earl Nightingale. All right. For half an hour, you're going to hear it every day for next whatever number of days. And I would suggest do it for 30 days because he says to do it for 30 days. And it's interesting.
Motivational speech? Is it something motivational speech?
Yeah, something motivational, something from Think
Something
and Grow
regarding
Rich of
success, sir.
Material
Success, how success
Success.
can be achieved.
Yeah.
Oh,
regarding goals, regarding how you plan. Those things are there, but it's presented in a very effective way.
Okay.
But it's only after 3-4 days that you start understanding it, because it's a long one. There are so many small stories inside. It's only when you repeat it for 3-4 days that you start understanding. One of my mentors told me sometime like 15 days back, and I started following it. And he always asked, "Have you heard this today?" And it does have an impact. Start thinking in a different way. You start planning. You start doing things which you didn't used to do. So it's good. All right. So yeah, this topic is done. Anything else that we want to do today? So it is, I'll write it here. The strangest secret. The strangest secret by Earl Nightingale. It's there on YouTube. Nightingale. Nightingale. GLE. It's around 31 minutes. I usually hear it while making my beard or while dusting, doing something, once making tea. So you can hear it during that time.
Sir, do you cook, sir?
Huh? What happened, Devi?
Do you cook
He's saying
normally?
you cook.
No, I don't cook. I don't cook.
Uh,
I'm not a very good, not very good guy. I don't cook only. I've never tried. Yeah, I used to cook earlier a little bit. Pulao mein bana leta tha when I was alone. That is the only thing. But then, yeah. All right. So this is what I want you to do. Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. Hear it for 30 minutes every day. Your vocabulary, your presentation, organization of ideas, writing essays, everything will improve. And you'll become a storyteller. Once you become a storyteller, everything is taken care of, isn't it? You can incorporate stories in your writing, speaking, everywhere. So it has a very strong impact. All right. Anything else that we want to discuss today apart from these 2-3 essays that we did?
सॉरी सर, मैं लिख रही थी उसको, क्या टॉपिक था सर जो यूट्यूब पे हमें,
Sorry,
और विल यू सेंड दी? oh yeah,
Yeah, here it is. The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale.
sure sir, it's done sir.
Yeah, do it. Every day you have to spend 30 minutes on this. I'm telling you, in a week's time you'll start, but then you have to persist and you have to have faith also. Do
Okay.
it like a kind of, some religious kind of activity. I'm doing सात सावन का वो होता है ना, सात शुक्रवार type.
सावन का सोमवार.
सावन का सोमवार, yeah. So this somvar will be every day. Your every day is going to be a somvar now for next 7 days. You are supposed to hear this.
Sure sir.
It's very good. It empowers you in so many different ways. So yeah. All right. So this is good, and yeah. So you're going to write those essays and you're going to send them to me. I'm also updating a lot of content on Facebook these days. So I'll send a link to you on that. I'm going to do some Facebook lives also. I'll send the links to that as well. And
Can you please send me invite to me also, because we are not connected on Facebook.
I'll send an invite to you as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, see you then. Have a fantastic weekend. Take care of
Same here,
yourself.
sir.
Don't go out.
Thank you.
Don't look at the sun.
Thank you.
Eat healthy, stay healthy.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye. So you're going to write these 2 essays and you are going to send them to me.
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
sir, yesterday I had heard that Nightingale one, sir.
You heard that? But you have not heard today. I'm not happy.
Sir, I will do it.